This podcast is sponsored by
Terraform Development is a rising engineering design and project management company located in Flagstaff, Arizona. Co-owners Eddie Kalnemtua and Stanford Lake started the company to bring economic-related projects to rural communities like the villages of the Hopi tribe. Some of the important work done by Terraform with the Hopi tribe are Tawaovi Master Plan, KUII radio station site plan, Hopi Tribal Housing Authority residential homes, and numerous other nonprofit types projects on the Hopi tribe. Terraform can be reached at 928-864-5022 or visit their website at www.terra4orm.com. That's TERRA, the number 4, ORM.com. Also sponsored by 4X Studio is a Phoenix-based design and print communications company that specializes in brand messaging, marketing communications, and creative services for small businesses, nonprofits, tribal gaming, American Indian, and corporate clients nationwide. Their professional services include integrated brand systems, strategic design, identity illustration, print, ad campaign, assist management, packaging, and event design. 4X Studio is an American Indian owned and operated by Shon Quannie. For more information, visit 4xstudio.com. That's the number 4, xstudio.com.
You are now listening to the Carl and J-Man Save the World podcast. I'm your host, the 5-star, 5-diamond chef, J-Man, and with me is So'o's finest, Carl.
Good morning and happy Wednesday, everybody out there. Thank you for listening to Carl and J-Man. My name is Carl and this is J-Man.
Not only is it a happy Wednesday, we like to wish everybody out there a happy new year because you're listening to this. It's 2021. It means you survived the shit show called the year 2020.
Yeah, the year 2020 was the worst year ever. I think we're just going to have to restart that whole year over and just go ahead and do it like a redo.
Start from scratch.
Yeah.
So if you're unhappy with the partner that you have right now, then you can erase that person and get started with a new partner in 2021.
If you play golf, you just call it a mulligan and just throw the golf ball in the back of your head and just shoot from wherever now. So
I think that we're all going to take a mulligan this year.
Exactly. So I'm very, very excited about the new year here, and I'm very, very excited about 2021, hoping that nothing bad will ever happen in this year.
Excited for the new year, excited for this episode.
So, well, thank you everybody for supporting us throughout the year or throughout 2020. I know it's been a real doozer, but thank you for sticking with us.
A real doozer. That's a Soulless Boy word if I ever heard one.
Hey, I want to keep this little PC here going on. So
I think you mean PG.
And the reason why I say that is because, there's been a lot of that whole idea of cancel culture. And that is today's topic.
Oh, God, cancel culture.
Yep.
Well, today's a special episode because, we are talking about the topic of cancel culture tying in with our past episode that we did, REZ Famous.
REZ Famous.
And so today we're going to be talking about cancel culture associated with being REZ Famous. Last season, we did have our REZ Famous episode featuring Mr. Waylon Pahona. Shout out to him. I think that he completed something remarkable. He walked like the distance between Phoenix to Hopi or something like that, all in the name of Hopi.
About 1,000 miles.
And their water. And, I kind of shelled out, gave him a little bit of support for that. But he is the first guest that we had on in talking about this topic of being REZ Famous. And today we got a very special guest. Somebody that I know and somebody that probably more than likely a lot of you out there in podcast land know. We got Moonie on the episode today.
I watched all of his videos. I binged watch all of his videos. And I must tell you is that most of the content that he makes is pretty true to Native America.
Reservation culture, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and it's very, very funny. I must, I really want to get his autograph.
What's your favorite Moonie video?
Well, the one that we were just watching just a minute ago was the, women can't choose between guys or something like that. And
that is actually one of my favorite episodes too, because you got the 3 guys that are dressed as girls.
Yeah.
And then they get like hot flashes when all the cute guys walk out. One of them being Moonie, and then another guy is, I think he is one of the famous cowboy guys or something like that.
Yeah.
But we'll ask him when we bring him on. But we wanted to talk about this topic, I guess, really associated with cancel culture. Cancel culture is something that we've hinted at a little bit, and I think that it was brought up in our past episode. Our episode from last season with Waylon Pahona, about talking about that cancel culture. And, for those of you that don't really know what cancel culture is basically, I guess, a new societal norm. And usually it happens on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Usually it happens with the social media stuff, with the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Instagrams. And basically when somebody, or, when there's an occurrence where somebody does something that society deems unfit, or kind of deems as bad. And then it's the power of all the people that are connected to the internet that kind of bring these individuals down.
Yeah, exactly. And, we're in that category as well, too, because we're kind of REZ famous, and we kind of fall into that where we might get cancel or whatever, cultural canceled, or whatever you're talking about.
Culture canceled.
You're cultural canceled or something.
Well, our culture is going to be canceled, I think, if some of us don't get in line and start speaking Hopi. But now, I think, when we did start this podcast, it was kind of a fear of mine to experience something like cancel culture, because, we've had a pretty good run. This is probably our 38th episode, not counting the bonus episodes.
Yeah.
And so, we've had the opportunity to come out here and talk to you all out there in podcast land about, basically, a lot of the topics that are pertainable to the Hopi Reservation, to Native Reservation, to Native America in general, sharing our opinions. And sometimes that, we share opinions that are unfavorable, or we've mentioned before that we're not very PC. And so, we do talk like REZ folks sometimes.
Yeah.
And we say, inappropriate things, or, things that might seem ignorant or belligerent. And, I guess that's part of, the fear of cancel culture is, what if we say something that's just real off base, and then, people care about it or get offended by it, and then share it on the internet like wildfire.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's cancel Carl and J-Man.
And that is kind of the fear in 2021 and 2020, where a lot of these REZ famous people have gotten canceled because of certain things that they have said towards maybe a certain group of people, or maybe the opposing a gender, or anything that's related to Native America that's trying to keep them above everybody else.
Exactly. And so, I think that I guess it's really easy to be a part of the cancel culture, because I think that one of the unfortunate aspects of social media, of the internet, is that kind of gives you the ability to say whatever the hell that you want to, without any type of repercussions or any type of ramifications, because we've talked about Twitter, and we've kind of said that not a whole lot of our Native folks are on Twitter. But if you go on Twitter and, if you follow it for whatever reason, any type of specific component of entertainment that you're interested in, that there's a lot of toxicity on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, there is.
And I didn't realize this because, I'm in my 30s, and I guess, technically that's old.
Yeah.
For some of the young people. But a lot of the young people, they'll create like fake accounts.
Really?
They'll create fake accounts on Twitter. And it's not really like catfishing, but you create these fake accounts. I don't know what they call them. I think I've heard the term burner account. And I'm not too sure if that's
burner
the term for it. But then, they create these fake accounts and basically, they kind of wall out and, just basically say whatever the hell they want to say because there's no real name attached to the account. There's no picture of a real person attached to the account. So it's like basically, you're running into a room and saying whatever ignorant, racist, or, any type of derogatory comment out into the universe. And then no one's going to take you down for it.
See, J-Man and we come from the MySpace era. So, we create one account and we make sure that it's our page with our music on there, our own little floater cursor, and
because God damn it, I want you to know how much that I love Lloyd Banks from G Unit.
Mine was Godsmack. Yeah, I had like Godsmack everything, and the theme you open it up, and then Godsmack is playing like crazy. So
I want you to know how much I love my sports teams because I think it was the Phoenix Suns that were my background or wallpaper. I think is what they called it, wallpaper.
Yeah.
But then again, though, you and I, we kind of came from the culture of writing letters.
Oh, yeah.
And emails.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that was kind of our social media back in the day when we were younger. But now, the kids, they got Twitter, Instagram, something called TikTok. I still don't know what a TikTok is.
I downloaded TikTok to see what it was. They just give me all like cooking and people doing like crazy jumps off of 3-story buildings and stuff like that.
Oh, no kidding.
I don't know how to change it. How do you like search for videos on that thing? So.
And then there's YouTube too.
I love YouTube.
And then, YouTube, it's crazy because then, people ask me, who's your favorite YouTuber? And it's like, I don't have one. I watch clips of The Office on YouTube. There are wrestling videos.
There is a kid on there. I don't know. I forgot his name. The kid that plays with the toys. And
Ryan.
Ryan's World. Ryan's World. And he's one of the world's youngest, richest kid. And I hate my life every day knowing that a 9-year-old kid is
out earning you.
Exactly. But anyway, we do live in a digital world now. So,
and I think the fact that we do live in that digital world is the reason why, information travels so fast, basically, at the snap of a finger, and that, when things happen that we know it instantaneously.
Oh, yeah.
Or we know it instantly. And then so when somebody that is in the public eye, somebody that's in the spotlight does something bad, we know about it instantly. And then we're quick to give our opinions on what those, basically on what those people have done.
But Hopis have never had social media before, but news travels fast on the reservation here. You mean something happens in Munkapi, it's already in Walpi before that person tells, somebody else in Munkapi.
I think that the social media before Facebook and Instagram, etc., was something my buddy, one of my childhood friends, called SOS. Society of Soos.
Society of Soos
was how news traveled from Muntapi all the way to Walpi in the snap of a finger.
Man, and see, we never had any Instagram or TikTok to relay all that information. We've been doing this in time immemorial.
We don't need technology.
We don't need technology.
We don't need technology to have
we have
cancel
soul.
Culture. We have souls. But it's kind of an interesting thing, the fact that, because of social media, it's so public and you see how it works. But then, you kind of see like, I guess how our people react to certain individuals that are in the public eye. And if they commit some sort of, basically if they make a mistake, right?
Yeah.
They make a mistake in life. And then all of a sudden, it's almost like that smear the queer game.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you're a kid when you're a kid at the day school, that when you caught that football, a bunch of people just kind of dogpiled on you. And so when you're somebody that's kind of in the public eye and you make a mistake, all these people are just dogpiling on you.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that happens almost every day, especially here on the reservation. Somebody doesn't like what you said or somebody doesn't like what you do. They're going to go ahead and find faults before they find any sort of success in your life.
Or sometimes it's just caused by jealousy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break for our first sponsor here.
Strong Ones is dedicated to exposing cultural traditions of running that exist within many cultures and tribes worldwide through running apparel. Strong Ones is an individually owned business supporting cultural running traditions and supporting local organizations within the Hopi Reservation. They can be found at strongones.myshopify.com. Again, that's strongones.myshopify.com. They are also on Facebook at StrongOnes15. And we're back. And so, it's kind of, I guess, the way that I think about it is that when, the people that do make these mistakes who are in the public eye, like the people that react to them, I guess the people that are being a part of the dog pile.
Yeah.
That sometimes a lot of the times that they don't really know the whole story as to the mistakes that some of these people make that are in the public eye. And so it's like, you're in real life, if you were to see somebody getting beaten up, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh man, what did they do? I don't know, but I heard that they did something bad. Like, oh shit, I better be a part of this. So you run over there and you start, kicking the person while they're down and not necessarily knowing the whole information about what's going on. But, like that, I think that that's a cause of being in a society that's very reactive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is. And it is very, very true how our own people react to their own blood and, flesh and blood. If they do something in the eyes of somebody that they don't like, they're going to go ahead and follow, the other side and say that, oh, I don't even know that person anymore.
Oh, for sure. And then it's one of those things too. I think that, like I said in one of our past episodes where we wear these moral badges.
Oh, yeah.
Where we kind of act like, we have this high morale, we have high ethics. And when we see somebody violating those ethics and morals, then we're kind of there, chastising them and casting stones and, making people feel bad for the mistakes that we've made, but not necessarily really taking that time to look at yourself in the mirror and to ask yourself, the questions that, well, have I made mistakes in my life?
Oh, yeah.
Have I done wrong things? You know what I mean? Because then it's like, it's because we are human beings. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has done something wrong. And so you think about, some of the bad things in the world that people do, you might not condone them, but maybe some point in your life that you made a mistake until you committed some of those crimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it is true. And see, how Hopi people really react is that they find the faults in you first. They look through all the faults first, and they bring you down to the lowest level before congratulating you. I mean, you can have a PhD, you can be Moonie, you can be chief of everything, but yet they'll bring you down because you did something in the past.
Or that they find a reason to bring you down. Carl wears glasses. Something's wrong with him.
I have 4 eyes to see you.
And so, I that's just, things that come to my mind, in regards to this cancel culture topic. But I think really, because, we want this podcast to be successful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, I think that where we're at right now, that you could consider us Hopi REZ Famous at least.
Oh, yeah.
And then, trying to build up and to get to that next tier to be Native or Indian country REZ Famous, and then build up to that. And then, maybe we're famous to another level. But, I think that that's really how this topic kind of intertwined with the idea of being REZ Famous. And so, with that, I think now's a great time to bring in our special guest.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring in our special guest.
Mr. Littleman, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for agreeing to appear. And so, I'd like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our listeners.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. I'll just go by my real name, Ramon. And everybody knows me as Moonie, Navajo. And that's it.
And so
sweet.
And I was thinking because you and I we've known each other for a few years. We met over at Arizona State University, and I think that one thing that a lot of people don't know about you is that before you started making these videos that went viral and got thousands, if not millions, of views, that you used to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I actually did it at ASU. I don't know if you remember, but I entered that talent show at ASU. Did it for the fun of it, and I won it. And ever since then, I kind of get small gigs here and there. But after my video took off, I kind of just started doing that more often.
I think that was kind of the thing, the one thing that made you stand out, because we did have a talent show with one of the student organizations, and a lot of the people that entered the talent show, they were doing kind of the stereotypical things that most Native students would do, kind of the traditional singing, a few other things. I think there were a couple of rappers, but lo and behold, there was one guy doing stand-up comedy, and that was you.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh. I just entered for the fun of it, and it turns out I was the only guy being a stand-up comedy. I was like, wow, I guess that's how I probably won, because I was the only one going there.
That's awesome, man. And so I guess, if you want to give us kind of the story of how you transitioned from doing the stand-up comedy into making the videos that became so famous and popular.
Yeah, how I started, it was probably back in 2016. I think it's been that long now. It only took me about roughly a few months before my videos started going viral. The reason why I started doing it is just to get a lot of things off my mind. And not only that, I always keep seeing that Vine. You guys remember the Vine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started watching YouTube videos on those Vines, and a lot of them were funny. I started finding all these Vines and on YouTube, and I never had the app. I always went off of YouTube. Then I started thinking, like, where's all the natives at? Like, I'd never seen none. I actually saw none in my point of view. I saw no native Vines. I'm sure they're out there, but I didn't see it among the popular ones. That's when I started thinking, like, you know what? I'll just start making videos, and I'll just do it for the fun of it. Why not? It's not like anybody's going to really see it, only my friends. That's where it started off. One video led to another, these short clips, 10 seconds. They went to 30 seconds to a minute. And then I think somewhere early year of 2006, that's when I finally got my debut. It was a video finally hit 100,000. And ever since then, I was on the map. And then, as time goes along, you make more videos, more people know about you, and it just started escalating from there.
That's awesome. So you're basically, kind of a trailblazer in the video. I don't know what category that would go into, like the comedy native video category. But what would you say was your favorite video that you made?
The favorite video I would say I made was when you thought you dated a non-native, but turns out she was half Navajo. Yeah, because you know how you get some natives that, they're half white or half Navajo, or, half African, half Navajo. They look like they're not native. But some of the non-natives, are actually the ones who are half Navajo and half white, they kind of look more, non-Navajo than native. So I made a video based off of that, because I grew up in Page, and then our school was half and half. So some of them were kind of mixed, and you couldn't tell if they were half Navajo until you saw the parents. They're like, oh, what? You're half Navajo? I actually, in high school, I dated a girl that was half Navajo and half white, and she was more native. So then I saw her mom, and I was like, and she was white. And I was like, you're half white? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And so that's what triggered that video to me to make it. I was like, you know what? I have to be in high school, so maybe I should do a video on that. You date a white girl, turns out she's half Navajo, and then turns out she's related to you. So, I mean, that was the very first video that hit 1 million, and all the comments and shares, you could just see so many people relate to that, thinking that they dated a non-native, but it turns out they're part native, or they're part cousins.
So
that was my favorite.
So the guys that you do the videos with, are they your friends, or are they your relatives?
Yeah, they're actually friends and relatives. And a couple of them are just random people who I selected from, messaging when I asked people to be part of the video. I think at the top of my head, I think I had a couple of dozen people, different people in my videos. Most of them were my friends, part of them were my family. And then a couple of them were just like extended friends or acquaintances that wanted to be part of it. And I just allowed them to.
Well, that sounds pretty nice.
And so, Moonie, I'm going to disclose something to you. I was very hurt that, throughout this entire journey you made that you never asked me to be in any of these videos.
You're busy. You're all being the next Hopi president, I think.
No, I'm just kidding. But I really was a fan because I don't think that you can be the one to tell us, but I'm not too sure if the one video, my favorite video of yours is probably one of the more popular ones. But that it wasn't a comedy video, but it was the one that I think had Peter Senza giving a speech or something, and it was kind of like an empowerment video.
Yeah, that was the one. That actually was Ben Shelley's voice.
Oh, Ben Shelley's voice.
Yeah, you remember the statistics of Native Americans graduating from high school to college?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That's the one with Ben Shelley. And that one I got first place on. I remember it was like Enter a Talent video show. I made it, and then I won it. It was like a $100 gift card, but that one was actually one of the videos I made for ASU was actually on the American Indian Student Services website.
Yes,
I don't remember what videos. A couple of them were, but then one took off one, and one stayed up for the longest time, and I think they finally took it off. But yeah, that's that video I like to do. I just put something together at the last minute.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite ones. But could you tell us and our listeners about kind of, I guess, when you hit the peak of your popularity, how much did life change for you once that, basically thousands, if not millions of people knew who you were?
I think as talking is the main thing is privacy. A lot of things will change in your life, but the one thing that you cannot change and you don't need to change for anybody is your privacy, your private life. So when I hit my peak, I kept my life private, and as you can tell, I think I did a pretty good job on it because when I left the social media world, nobody knew where I was at. Nobody knew what I was doing, and they had no clue where I was at. So, and a lot of them didn't know my real name. A lot of them were referring to it as Moonie, but none of them knew my real name. And honestly, when I created a new Facebook based off my real name, it took them a while to actually find out who I really was. So I have to say that when I hit the peak, was the main thing is that everywhere you go, people will notice you. And everywhere I went in the valley, I didn't notice so much natives were here. Arizona Mills, Temple Marketplace, at ASU, anywhere you eat at in Tempe, I always started noticing natives, and that's what changed the most. Is like, wow, I think I better watch what I do out in public because there's actually a lot of natives here.
Wow. So when the videos that you create, every video has some sort of Native American storytelling in there. And when you're making these movies or you're making these little short videos, do you get some sort of backlash from different people saying that, that's my life there. Why are you videotaping my life like that?
Or making fun of our life,
yeah,
or our culture or anything like that.
Yeah, that was a problem too. I think when you first start off, when you start first making videos and you have less of an audience, you have the freedom to make whatever you want. You can insult somebody, offend somebody, like how some of these may appear on my over the years. But yeah, as time goes along, you do get a small amount. And honestly, I don't really see it as much because you have the free to comment, to share. I didn't notice it as much because when I make a video, it already hits 100,000 views, a couple of thousand shares and comments, and I can't see it. I don't notice it. I can only see about at least 80% of the time it's all good. Then you got that small percentage of it being 20% or 50% that I can't really see. So, but I guess I can say is I didn't really notice it as time went along because the videos and everything started racking up. So I didn't have time to actually read every comment or read every share. I just didn't have time to do it as time went along. And I think that's the most important thing is, you may offend somebody, but in reality, it's a joke. Most of us take it as a joke, but you get a small percentage who won't take it as a joke. So some way I just kind of don't see it. There's very few times when I first started making videos, I noticed it, but it didn't bother me as much. It was always one or two people, but hey, you can't satisfy everybody all the time.
Oh yeah.
Never in your life, you'll never satisfy anybody. Like 9 out of 10, when you graduate, you always get that one person who's going to hate you for graduating, or you assaulted him just because you graduated, or you got your dream job. You know, you're always going to have somebody who's going to hate you. So that's the one thing I learned is that I may offend somebody or I may make fun of somebody, but it's just sometimes I can't satisfy everybody every time I make a video. And I mean, a lot of it does relate to me. So I experience these and I think it's funny because even though it may be kind of offensive to me or rhetorical, but still I lived through it. You know, I have a hard skin. I made it. You know, I can tell these people if I ever, see them or say, hey, you offended me on one of these videos. Like, well, I lived through it too. You know, I mean, we're all Native Americans, all Navajos or Hopis. I'm sure we all dealt with the same thing, but sometimes you just gotta laugh. But I mean, that's how I took it as each video I made. I couldn't satisfy anybody.
Oh yeah,
that's a really good point. Really good message.
But before we move on, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break for our second sponsor here.
This paid sponsorship was paid for by Justin Villarreal.
Hey, Tom here with Hopi Relief. Hopi Relief is a nonprofit organization based down here in the Valley, where we are providing much-needed supplies to the Hopi Reservation during this COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. Please visit HopiRelief.org and find out how you can get involved. Hopi Relief is also an Arizona-recognized charitable tax organization. And please visit us December 1st on Giving Tuesday. Thank you.
All right, and we're back.
And so a good segue into what you were just talking about, Moonie. I know that for some people, I guess, even for anybody, it probably takes a lot of mental strength to deal with all of the attention that one can get being REZ famous. Did you have any struggles with like your mental toughness or your mental health when you had so many eyes on you at the peak of your popularity?
To be honest, not really. I already had a thick skin going into it already. I learned a lot in high school. Learned a lot from my family and friends. I started taking criticism in high school by Navajos because I played sports and I was pretty good at it, along with my brothers. They called us apples. You're Navajo on the white side, but white on the inside. Well, they always get jealous. They always insult me. I just kept looking straight. I finished school. I took the criticism throughout my high school. I kind of always developed that thick skin, and I learned it by myself too. I had a very dark past somewhere between the year 2010 and 2014. That was my darkest past, and I learned that for myself. I learned to become stronger, and by the time I got into this real fame, so many people looking, watching me, trying to hurt me. None of it really bothered me. It's just like, okay, you got pretty much 10,000 strangers talking shit about you, and you got another 50,000 people who really don't know who you are except from the videos. So I sit there and think, like, somebody can assault me, but there's really no point of me thinking about you because I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. And I'm like, that's what I took it as. I already had a thick skin. People said a lot of stuff. I took the hits. I kept going forward. I hit my peak, and nothing stopped me. I kept going. I started from 0 followers, and I kept going and hit, I think, like 140,000 followers. Like, that didn't stop me. I kept climbing. I kept pushing. Kept taking the hits. It's I would say if you don't have a thick skin, it's very hard. You probably tear yourself apart. You'll probably lose yourself. I think that's what a lot of people do nowadays, is that they don't realize how much attention and how much mentality you must have in order to keep moving forward in the fame. You have to keep taking hits one after another. It's just like that every day. I mean, you see the goodness, people loving you, people sharing, but at the same time, in the background, you're just taking hits. You're just taking hits, keep going. You know, you gotta keep pushing. That's what I take it as. So, but yeah, I would agree that it does drain the mentality sometimes. But I was kind of already prepped and ready, and I kept going. And to actually prove that a lot of people thought I was, you know, taking the hits and hurting my feelings, I actually graduated at the end of it. Like, I stayed focused, concentrated on my school, travel, did the videos, and in the end, I came victory. I graduated. Like, hey, you didn't bother me one bit. I finished my school. You know, so I don't know what to say. I'm not trying to compete with this other person, but it's like, you know, I got through it.
So J-Man, are you mentally prepared for being REZ Famous?
I am not mentally prepared for being REZ Famous.
I am. So I already had that mentality going on.
It's so Mr. Littleman, it sounds like that you already had the armor on before you went into this, before you got your fame through the YouTube videos. And you said that, you know, a couple of your videos have hit 1 million views. And, you know, it sounds like you established a pretty strong, I guess a pretty strong fan base. Or were there any like real outlandish interactions with any fans? Like, did fans go to like extreme lengths to try to communicate with you, or, you know, try to get your attention?
Yeah, I had that a couple of times. Shocking how far they went to actually get my attention.
Wow,
I was pretty amazed by that.
I think that's probably something that Carl's probably looking forward to.
Oh yeah. I'm looking, remember what, Wayne Pahona said that he got
bit in the face.
I'm ready for getting bit in the face by a woman. So.
By a woman wearing some Shamu pants.
Did that anything like that happened in your fame there, that somebody tried to bite your face?
Bite it? Like actually bite it or kiss it? Which one?
I guess either one, whichever you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, somebody grabbed my butt a few times.
It wasn't one of those Navajo guys with the wigs on, was it?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I know I went to a couple of friends. I go out with a couple of friends sometimes and just chilling, hanging out. Everybody's all squished together. You know, we've got somebody grabbing your butt. So I don't know. Maybe not, because I couldn't figure out who did or not. So I keep telling my friends, like, dude, he's like, what? I was like, somebody grab my butt. He's like, what? Nobody grabbed my butt. I was like, guess not, then.
And so it's been a while, correct, Mr. Littleman, since the last time you've made any videos with I guess kind of your post career with the YouTube videos. Do you still get recognized when you go places, especially on the REZ?
Yeah, I was saying that for a while, which is a good feeling. But I think time goes along, your fame goes away, people forget, and they're like, "Oh, you're just not facing the crowd." I think I'm starting to notice that, which is actually great for me. But yeah, you get very little. I would just say about very smidge that someone will recognize me. Had this one lady come up to me. She's like, "Are you Moonie? You look like Moonie." And I was like, "No, I'm Ramon." "Oh, I'm sorry." And then she walks off, and I'm like, "Okay, that worked."
Yeah, my name is DeAndre. So
Carl's real name is DeAndre.
Yeah, they get fooled by me. So, hey, what's up, fool? I'm DeAndre. It's like, what? I thought you were Carl. But yeah, I mean that sounds like it sounds like you did get a lot of fame through Native America, and I mean, do you have fans that still follow your? Yeah, do you have like fans that follow your YouTube channel or your Facebook page, like new fans like that?
My Facebook and Instagram is private, but every now and then I'll accept somebody's request as long as we have mutual friends. But then they'll like message me right away and be like, "Hey, I'm a fan." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm not gonna be a creep. You know, I just want to see what you're doing." Aftermath. I'm like, "Okay." You know, it's like, "Okay, this person's cool then." So, but they're both private. YouTube, I still have yet to post some. I think it's over think 10,000 followers still
Yeah.
on YouTube. The views definitely increased after I started posting all my old ones from Facebook to YouTube. So I think that's still kind of strong, 10,000. But I created a TikTok, though. I think the TikTok was a new trend for the past year and a half, which I'm late on, which I didn't know what it was. So I created a TikTok back in March of this year. I guess when we had that stay-at-home order here in Phoenix. So I started working from home for a month and a half, and I got bored. And I saw TikTok, and I was like, hey, why not? I still have that groove of making videos. So I'll just make videos, and nobody will recognize me on there. I can be myself. And I started making videos, and before you know it, I got over 30,000 followers.
Oh, wow. No kidding.
Wow.
We might have to hire you to help us out and figure out how to set up a TikTok. I don't know if that's something that we need to do to promote the podcast.
Yeah, I downloaded TikTok, and it's just showing me like cooking videos and people jumping off of roofs. I don't know how to change it, so I don't know how to look for videos on that thing.
I just got to keep strolling through FYP, I guess, for your page, and you'll find it. I just started on it, and I started making videos and started posting my old ones. And to be honest, the old videos been hitting thousands of views. I'm like, wow, everybody still likes the old videos. And I just laughed, and yeah, it just started increasing. And I think that's where I started finding all my old fans. Like a lot of them were commenting on it saying, hey, oh my God, you're back, Moonie, blah, blah, blah. You're back, come back to the year. I'm like, nah, I'm just doing it for the fun of it. I got bored, so I'm just doing it for the fun of it. I'm actually looking to get back into it.
Moonie reborn in 2021.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. The comeback of the year, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just only doing it for just to make it, no, it's not something I'm going to turn back into again. So, but yeah, TikTok, I guess it's a new trend. Been around for 2 years now, actually, and I barely got on it this year.
So with all the videos that you created in the past, have you ever gotten like some sort of sponsorship or some sort of donation to make these videos?
Yeah, but I denied them.
Why?
I didn't look to turn it to a career. I had people come to me, make shirts, hats, pretty much my product of anything I make. They want to make shirts how relate to my videos. Yeah. And I said, nah, it's fine. I'm not looking to do this. No, like, come on. Or they want me to promote. And I said, no, I felt uncomfortable doing that, because I wasn't looking to make it as a career, because during my peak, it was actually before my peak, I already knew that this was a means to an end. And that's what my mind was focused on. So that's why I never really took any sponsorship money or any advertisements or anybody who wanted to make my product. I just didn't see myself as a celebrity. I never did. And I just said, no, I'm good. So I kind of denied it a lot. But the only ones I actually did accept is talking to schools, motivating young youth. I believe most of my fans and audience were all youth. So when I went to schools and high schools and talked, I enjoy that rather than selling my shirt or advertising this and that. I didn't take it. So that's why I didn't really do it, because it was the means to an end. I didn't look to turn it into a career.
So if you had the chance to do this all over again, if you had the chance to do everything all over again, what would you do differently?
Yes, I would do it. I would definitely turn it into a business.
But that was a pretty good response that you had, because Carl and I we're corporate sellouts, because you hear the sponsorships on the podcast episode, although we do love our sponsors.
Oh yeah,
we love our sponsors.
Yep.
And so I think that Carl and I are trying to turn this into a business, but I guess on a more positive side, Moonie, that your videos, they really did highlight reservation culture, a lot of like you said, a lot of what was missing something out on the media side of things, on the social media side, and really help to promote that. And I think that, your story really motivates younger folks who have similar aspirations to, I guess, get themselves REZ famous, or even just motivation in general to be proud of, being a Native person, to being proud of the Native culture that we all do delve in. And so I guess, one of the last questions before we run out of time is, what are some of the positives that came with the fame that you got through your videos? Were there some people that really told you that, your videos really changed my life or really helped me with my life?
Yeah, I had a lot of those. I think the main thing is that I dealt with depression, so I deal with it occasionally. You always, when somebody's dealing with depression, anxiety, you look for something to create you happy. You don't sit in a dark room. Mm-hmm. So that's how I was, and I can see how kids see that. When I make these funny videos, a lot of them laugh. A lot of them do laugh. A lot of them do laugh, and a lot of them did relate to it. Like, hey, this is funny. Hey, thank you. You saved my life. You pretty much make me happy and come home. And I was like, I tell them that I dealt with depression, and once they hear those words coming out of my mouth, they just light up. Their eyes light up. They're like, really? I said, yeah. I dealt with depression just like you did. And I think a lot of those just relate to that. People being depressed, have anxiety. They don't have nowhere to go except social media. And then before you know it, they see my videos. It actually makes them laugh. And then, they see more and they keep laughing. And there they have like a little happiness to look around. And they I think that's how most of the youth looked up to me. And they saw me, like, this guy is famous. This guy has a lot of views. This guy has done a lot of things similar to what I've done, dealing with depression. And when I announced that one day that I dealt with depression, anxiety, and suicidal, like, that connected to a lot of the youth, especially with suicidal is very high. Not graduating high school is very high. Even depression is very high, along with alcoholism, because it leads to that. And I relate to that because I grew up around that. I mean, who hasn't? We all grew up in that same environment. So I think then see me rising up above it, they actually see something and they relate to me. And I think that touches me the most. That kind of pushed me more to actually keep doing it. That's why I kind of stuck around a little longer than I thought it would. It's just like you get a kid who comes up to me and just, kind of tears up a little bit and tells me, and even the mother or father will come up to me and hug me. And those moments just kind of made me think, I should keep doing it. So that's why I kind of stuck around a little longer than I should.
Well, thank you again for sharing your stories, and thank you for letting us into your life a little bit more. So I think it's time for us to head on out here. So.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Littleman, for agreeing to be on the podcast, for bringing us on your retirement tour.
Yeah, no problem. I just when you reached out to me, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Because I know you. If somebody random or somebody I didn't know asked, I would deny it. But when you reached out to me, I was like, I knew you for the longest time. I'll get on his podcast. Maybe one day he'll get famous and reach out to me and tell him to come visit him, or when he comes to Hopi President, and hopefully he remembers me.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and let you go here. And if you want to support our podcast here, listeners, go to anchor.fm/CJ Podcast 85 to become a monthly sponsor. Or if you want to just donate to us in any way, go to buymeacoffee.com/CJ Podcast and just donate $1 or any type of funds you want.
And we're trying to be REZ famous like Moonie. So go follow our YouTube page, hit the subscribe button, hit the likes, because we are going to be coming in hot with this new YouTube series we've been talking about. And so that's going to be fresh for the 2021 year. And as usual, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you're listening to us on Apple iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast, give us that 5-star review. That really helps us out big time. And we'll see you all next time.
My name is Carl, and this is my best friend, J-Man. Thank you for listening to Carl and J-Man Save the World podcast.
So long. Quack, quack.